All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're looking at a case where a single event created three totally different stories. It's a wild tale about a fight, a dog, and a final verdict that really makes you question the whole idea of one single objective truth. So here's the big question right up front. What actually happens when the truth is buried under a mountain of contradictions? For the next few minutes, you get to be the juror. Okay, let's dive in. Let's start with the one thing nobody disputes. The spark that lit the fuse and led to a 911 call. So it all kicks off when a woman named Chelsea Hyatt confronts Derek Higgins. She's convinced he stole her car. And according to the police report, Chelsea herself admitted she saw red and just started yelling. And that's the moment this whole thing just ignites. Okay, so first up, let's hear from the accuser. In Chelsea Hyatt's version of events, she was the victim of a totally unprovoked and, frankly, pretty vicious attack. So Chelsea's story to the cops is this. Derek's wife, Ashley, just came out swinging. She says she got hit 3 times. First, a slap, then a punch to the forehead so hard it knocked her flat on the ground. But then, the story takes a crazy turn. Chelsea claims Ashley sixed her pit bull on her, yelling, "Get her and kill her," literally using the dog as a weapon. She says the dog was lunging, so she's scrambling to find a tree branch to defend herself, and all the while, Derek is threatening to bear mace her. But hold on, because when the police track down Ashley and Derek Higgins, the story gets turned completely on its head. In their version, they were the ones who had to defend themselves.
Yeah, the Higginses paint a totally different picture. They say Chelsea was very hostile from the get-go. And here's the bombshell. They claim Chelsea struck Ashley first with what they called a closed fist slap. Ashley says, "No way, I never laid a hand on her." She says after she was hit, she just tried to pull out her phone to start recording. And then Derek adds this other detail. He says Chelsea ran away but then came back with a big rock.
Okay, so we've got 2 stories that are just polar opposites. Now, let's bring in the physical evidence and an independent witness to see if we can sort this mess out. And trust me, this is where it gets really, really tangled. Wow, okay, this chart just lays the whole problem bare, doesn't it? Who threw the first punch? Chelsea points the finger at Ashley. Ashley and Derek both point right back at Chelsea. The independent witness, Kathleen, she didn't see Chelsea hit anybody. How many hits? Chelsea says 3, Ashley says 0. The witness saw 1. And what about a weapon? Chelsea says she was trying to find a tree branch for defense. Derek says Chelsea was the one with a weapon, a big rock. The witness saw neither. It's a total mess. So if you're on that jury, what do you even do with this? You're wading through this thick fog of contradictions where every single key detail is disputed. When the stories just don't add up, you've got to look for something solid, right? You look for the physical evidence. And at first glance, the evidence seems to point in one pretty clear direction. The cops documented several injuries on Chelsea. A red mark on her face, fresh scratches on her arm, a swollen elbow. But when they check out Ashley, the person who supposedly started it all, nothing. No visible marks, no injuries, 0. This looks like a pretty open and shut case for Chelsea's story, right? Well, but hold on, not so fast. Because buried deep in that police report is this one little detail that could change everything. When they asked about her swollen elbow, Chelsea says she already has tennis elbow in that arm. She claims the pain from the fight was 10 times worse. But that admission, that is a gift for the defense. And this brings us to a huge legal idea called causation. Basically, the prosecution has to prove, without a doubt, that the defendant's action directly caused the injury. But now, with this pre-existing condition on the table, the defense can argue, hey, how do we know that elbow was swollen from the fight? Maybe it was just a flare-up of her tennis elbow. It's just enough to plant that critical seed of reasonable doubt. So, with all this chaos, conflicting stories, tricky evidence, pre-existing conditions, how on earth did the legal system make sense of it all? Let's get to the official charges, and finally, the verdict. You know, based on Chelsea's story, the state went all in. They didn't just file a minor charge. A grand jury indicted both Ashley and Derek on 5 serious counts. We're talking multiple felonies here, like attempted assault and unlawful use of a weapon, with the dog legally classified as that weapon. The stakes could not have been higher. And now here it is, the big twist. Just when you think you have a handle on this case, it's revealed that the prosecution's star witness, Chelsea, has a pending charge against her for initiating a false report in a completely different case. A witness accusing people of assault is herself accused of lying to the police. You're probably thinking, okay, that's it, game over, not guilty, and you'd be wrong. This is what makes this case so fascinating. Because despite everything, the contradictions, the lack of injuries on Ashley, the massive credibility problem with the accuser, a jury heard it all and came to this conclusion. This is the actual court document. Ashley Higgins was found guilty by a jury of a Class C felony, unlawful use of a weapon, for attempting to use her dog against Chelsea Hurte. So let's just process that. 12 ordinary citizens, a jury, listened to all of this and decided that beyond a reasonable doubt a crime was committed. Knowing that's the final outcome, does it change how you see the conflicting stories? Does it make you reweigh the witness testimony or think differently about the physical evidence? It's a powerful reminder that in the search for truth, sometimes the only thing that really matters is what a jury decides.